Hey folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we're looking at episodes 6 and 7 of Sword Art Online Season 3. So guys, as you know, last week I didn't get to review Sword Art Online. I think it was episode 6. And unfortunately, I felt horrible about that because I was desperately trying to figure out a way to do it on Saturday. But I had a rush at work that just was so freaking busy. And on top of that, I was just busy getting ready for the convention, which many of you guys may or may not know. I went to Anime New York City for the second year in a row now, because it's only been around for 2 years. But I went for the second year in a row. I went actually as press, which is freaking amazing. I got to do that thanks to Honey's Anime. You know, they gave me the opportunity to do that, which I am forever in like just awe of them giving me the ability to do that. I also went as a staff for Annie Matsuri, so Annie's song, where we had a whole bunch of Japanese artists, singers. The woman who did the opening for Evangelion and for Gurren Lagann. We also had a few other people I got to see. One was one of the people who does One Piece openings. I got to see them live, and many people got to see them live. We had, I was staff for that, so I really couldn't enjoy I want to say the convention as much as I wanted to by myself. I was kind of more forced to, work a little bit harder those days. But the thing was that I got to soak in, everyone's love of this convention. And it almost made me feel like I went around and was able to shop around. Like, I didn't do any shopping, which for a convention, I think that's, like, unheard of. But I didn't buy a single thing when I was at the convention. I didn't go to the booths or anything like that, unfortunately. But it was still a lot of fun. I got to see some great cosplay. I really didn't get to take a lot of pictures. I put on Twitter that I was so busy that I was just really focusing on just getting through the day. It didn't help that I had to work my other job and then have to go immediately to the convention. So I was like, oh my god, it was tight. It was a lot of work, and it's probably the busiest I've been in God knows how long. So, I apologize for reviews being all over the place. I apologize for this coming out a day later and one review being a week later. But now that you guys are caught up on that, I can focus on the review, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. So, let's go first, episode 6, obviously. Episode 6 has the last appearance of Asuna for probably a while. Asuna learns more about the whole thing of what Kirito is dealing with inside this world. We get to see the horrors, in a way, of what the Flux Lights can and can't do. We see that one of the researchers, I forget the dude's name, but he's like the guy with the glasses. He's researching the Flux Lights and trying to make them human. So essentially, you grow these like AI people in this world, the underworld, and what ends up happening is when they're birthed, they're so-called birthed, they feel like they're real people. They don't know the difference between fake and reality. And the thing is that right now, that's the concept they're stuck at, is they think that they're all perfect beings. They think they are the real people when they're not. They're AI. And so in the case of him, he made like a separate being of himself, and you saw that the guy panicked like immediately. So the AI went, "No, I'm the real person. What are you doing? Let me out of this machine. I can't see anything. It's dark." It went crazy. Went absolutely nuts. Like a minute, like shut down and caused a override of his like systems and all that. So, as cool as this AI program system is, it's taking where they realize they have to birth these AI in this world and make it so they get fully raised. And maybe then, when they come out, they will have like this real concept to them, if that makes sense. We also learned a little bit more about Kaiba's relationship with that one woman, I forgot her name too, and that sucks because I actually like her character a lot. I think she has a lot of potential as a big character for SAO, but right now she's playing the side role, which I want to say a lot of the women in the show this season get kind of the side role. Sword Art, it does that, unfortunately, where it makes a lot of the women take the side role. If they don't become main characters right away, like next to Kirito, everyone else kind of takes a back seat. Alice will be a thing soon, I promise you, but she will be a side character for a little while. And you'll understand what I mean when I get to that point, but move on from that. But we learn more about like her relationship with the founder of SAO, how he actually put a bomb in her to make it so she would be forced to take care of him. But everyone thought that was a horrible and atrocious thing he did. He actually did that to protect her. So this way, when eventually he would get caught, most likely, she would not be addicted of any of the charges that helping basically a villain, helping a what's the word I'm looking for, a criminal essentially. helping a criminal in this case. And so, he was looking out for her in his own creepy and disturbing way, but put a bomb in her, man. That's just weird. But that's how the episode ended, essentially, where we see the concept of time. We learn a little bit more about the world. And then we have episode 7, which was Saturday's episode, yesterday's episode as of today, where we see that apparently 2 years have passed in Kirito's world. And the crazy thing is, it's only been like a day and a half, or a couple of days, I think, at most, in the real world since Kirito's adventure. Note this, by the way, folks, and they don't do a really great job explaining, I think, in the anime. They do a better job in the book. Time in the underworld passes at a very accelerated rate, as many of you probably realize already. But they're not exactly going off of the same time in both worlds. Like it's not like, oh, it's been a few days in the real world since Kirito has been comatose and put into the underworld system. It's been like, I think, equivalent of a day. Asuna is still at this point of where Kirito, even though he's in this world and he's been there for 2 years, she's still looking for him, I believe. And so there's like this kind of overture of where you see the results, when she found him, that was days after. And Kirito hasn't gone through that yet, if that makes sense. And I think they're doing that on purpose to make it where eventually, if they get reunited or if things go a little astray, it makes more canonical sense to time-wise. And because the whole concept of a accelerated time, you have to really be careful with, because you're almost wondering how they're basing the minutes and time off. That's why they don't do even in the book. They explain it like every detail. They just explain that time moves very fast in the world, essentially. But yeah, Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh have gone to the capital. They've won a tournament, which, by the way, I want to point out really fast. The tournament is the biggest skip, and I was so freaking happy they did it. The biggest skip from the book is the tournament arc, where the tournament arc lasts about, I want to say, maybe 30, 40, 50 pages around that. And it's just them talking about the tournament. It's them getting ready to, they fight various people. There's a character that's missing. And I don't know if I would tell, I guess it's not really a spoiler to tell you because he shows up in that point, but during the tournament arc, Kirito clearly is being watched by someone. And it's this, observer of sorts that's transformed into, a small bug and is, laying on top of Kirito's hair and shoulders and all that at points. And he's watching Kirito fight for firsthand and monitoring his progression and stuff like that. Why, we don't know yet. Maybe they explain it later in the books that I haven't got to the point that I got to yet. But you're left in this dark of what the hell's happening to him. And but the thing is that the tournament arc, I really didn't care for that much. I mean, I like the concepts of them getting ready to fight, but I think it lasted a little too long. I love how the anime just kind of sugarcoat over it. They put a little bit of emphasis on it. They show them getting into a few fights. They show them clearly winning. They show them getting their seats at the academy. That's all. And I'm so happy they did that, because I'm like, please, for the love of God, don't focus on that. I was scared shitless, because I thought maybe that'd be 4 or 5 episodes, maybe at most 3. But it was only 1, and I really just had. It wasn't even 4 minutes, 5 minutes of them talking about it, so I was really happy about that. But we see, and we're going past a little bit with Kirito getting his new sword, which is from the Gigas tree. It's probably one of the coolest swords. They did skip a few things with that from the book, which is not really a big deal. He shows that he's so powerful that apparently cracks the armor in the guy's workshop as he leaves, and that kind of scares him, because he's like, how is this? He just took a swing and he destroyed my armor. They kind of show off that. They don't show that. And I was kind of surprised by that. But they do show that, Kirito ends up assaulting, quote unquote, the first seat, who was the strongest warrior on the whole academy, and they're going to have a fight now. Now, I am dying to see how this fight goes, because in the light novel, it's really one of my favorite fights of the whole thing so far. It's based off of one swing, but you think about one hit is not really, I want to say, it's not as easy as it might sound. It's really gonna be a cool thing to watch, so I can't wait for it. I'm stoked. It's gonna be next week's episode, and I think so far I've been right with every prediction I made in terms of the length of things. I've said either if they skip all of that, it'll be an episode. I've been timing things pretty good. I'm amazed by that. If we're going off of what I've read so far, it should be I want to say several more episodes till we get to even the capital, which I won't explain how they get to there, but they get to the actual capital, the main building. I'm thinking the first season, the first arc of Sword Art Online Season 3 will be where they meet Alice. I feel like that's going to be the big thing. Got it revving up to that point. and you know it's based. I want to say that's based off of how they're doing things right now, because I'm assuming next week's episode is going to cover a decent amount of what's about to happen. And by the way, for the people that hate those two characters that are like real assholes that you see, like the nobles that are talking behind Kirito's back and all that, they get their just comeuppance later. Trust me, it's kind of amazing what happens to them. But anyways, with that being said, I love this week's episode. I love the last week's episode. I think really Sword Art Season 3 is way better than Sword Art Season 2. I'll say that flat out. And it's definitely growing to be better than the first season, to be honest with you, in my opinion at least. What are you guys thinking? What are you enjoying about it? What do you not enjoy about it? Are you keeping up with it pretty well? If you have any questions that aren't spoilers and you need like some advice for like what's happening, or if you need a little more detail, feel free to ask me. I do know a decent amount about this because I really do love the light novels for Sword Art, and I tend to like read them and kind of absorb them into me. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. God bless you all. Have a great night, everyone. Bye bye.